And welcome back to another edition of the Podcast Coaches.
Schmack, say it, man.
Right. We're buffering over here.
That's right. It's not you, it's us.
I'm Mark McCray.
I'm Tony Scott.
Longtime radio pros who are into podcasting, and we have some tips that we'd like to share with you. Hopefully you find this stuff interesting. If not, one of these videos might,
We'll
satisfy an itch.
Yeah, we'll satisfy your itch in one of these at least. But today we're talking about logos.
Logos, right, cover art, which is, one of the smaller things, but it's pretty important because in a lot of ways it's a window into who you are. It's the first impression somebody might get about your podcast.
Yeah, when someone sees your cover art, your thumbnail for your podcast, this is you reaching your hand out to shake their hand. This is essentially what this is. So you want something. You don't want something with and you took a picture and you put it up. No, you got to go a little better than that.
Right. And my suggestion is that a lot of people are viewing these things, much like Tony said, on small devices, their phones, right? And so make sure that the logo is not really complex, not a whole lot of words, just a couple words, and make sure the words are big, right? So if we're called the Podcast Coaches, make sure the words are big.
Yeah.
And also if you decide to use a picture like we did, ours is more of like a caricature, something that's easy.
Yeah, you don't want anything that's busy because it's going to be very small, and people are scrolling. And so you want your thumbnail. It's really a hard thing to do because you want to grab their attention, but you want to keep it at a minimum.
Right.
So there's a fine art to that. And if you don't have that skill set, you need to spend a little money and get it done right.
You can go to Fiverr and find somebody. Somebody will contract it out and do this for you.
You got a lot of graphic artists who are just getting started and hanging their freelance shingle out.
Right.
And we'll do something very cheap. I mean, they're going to do it for $5, but you'll spend, because normally if you get it done, we're talking a few $100s. Mm-hmm. So if you can get one for even $100, you're getting a steal.
Absolutely. And get it done right, because this is the first impression that somebody's going to have of you. And also, it's a representation of who you are.
Yep.
Make sure that it's simple. Make sure that it's easy to read, and easy to read on a very small device. Mm-hmm. And something that you don't mind sharing on your social media as well. And make sure that it also explains in a moment's notice what your podcast is about.
Yeah, true. And this tip, if you're going to go to somewhere like Fiverr or one of these freelance sites, when you find out how many revisions you get when you buy something. Some of them you get no revision. Some of them you might get 3. Some you might get 5. That's important because when you see your picture, you might want to tweak it a little bit. And if you got a revision, that's included. If you don't have any revision, you're going to have to pay a little extra to get it changed.
And be careful with your fonts as well. Using a cursive font or a font that may be hard to read, no. Traditional block letter fonting or something that's really easy to read is going to take you a long way. Yep. And again, be brief. You know what the key the key to billboards is? Brevity.
This is true.
So when you're traveling down a highway and you see a billboard, there's not a whole lot of words on there because you're going 60 miles an hour. Unless you're in Texas, you're going about 95. and you need to be able to make an impression pretty quick.
Yeah, because I've seen billboards going down the highway at 75, 80 miles an hour, and they've got scripture up there, and you can't read it. You get maybe a sentence in, and then it's gone. And
right.
It's and it seems like it's a waste of money.
You must have a good car if your car can go 70, 80 miles an hour. Mine shakes like a frightened child at that speed.
Yeah, I've seen your ride. Right.
Anyway, hopefully this was some helpful tips when you do your logo. Take it seriously, and we'll see you in another episode of the Podcast Coaches. And again, tell us in the comments what else you would like for us to talk about. Like if you're starting your podcast or you are in your podcast and you're like, I wish they'd talk about that, let us know in the comments, and go ahead and hit the like, subscribe button. It gives us an indication that you want us to do more of these.
All right, take care. We'll talk to you next time.
Yeah.